Disney Dreamlight Valley finally gave players a glimpse at the new Royal Tool, and there is a lot of speculation. Earlier this year, Dreamlight Valley's content roadmap teased the release of a new Royal Tool coming in late 2023. And finally, after months of speculation, we've received our first glimpse of this tool, featured in a promotional image for Dreamlight Valley's first major expansion, a Rift in Time. But now, many players are wondering, what exactly is this tool? And what could it be used for? And that's exactly what we'll be discussing in this video. Hey there gamers, I'm probably Senpai, and today we'll be taking a look at Disney Dreamlight Valley's newest Royal Tool and what its possible functions could be. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that I'm a small full-time content creator, and every like on this video can make a huge difference for me. Be sure to subscribe for more Disney Dreamlight Valley and gaming content. Always stay up to date on the latest Dreamlight Valley news, theories, and more. And with that, let's get started. If you're like me, then you've been eagerly awaiting more information about Disney Dreamlight Valley's upcoming major expansion, a Rift in Time. And today we will be focusing on one particular aspect of that expansion, the newest Royal Tool. Wielded in the left hand of a player avatar is a rather tall staff, emanating magical golden light. The base of the tool and the handle may not tell us much. However, the top of this staff is very interesting. Resting at the peak of this newest tool is our one and only clue about this new tool's purpose, and it's a little something called a gyroscope. But what exactly is a gyroscope, and what is it used for? To answer this question, we'll have to focus on two different variations of gyroscopes. Those found in the real world and modern technology, and those found in fictional, fantasy, and sci-fi stories. Now, let's start with the real world before we dive down the fantasy rabbit hole. A gyroscope is defined as follows: an apparatus consisting of a rotating wheel so mounted that its axis can turn freely in certain or all directions, and capable of maintaining the same absolute direction in space in spite of movements of the mountings and surrounding parts. Now, if that definition made your head spin, I do apologize. I know none of you guys signed up for a science class today, but trust me, I think all this information is important. The main thing you need to understand is that a gyroscope in motion will maintain a particular orientation. And it's this simple attribute that makes gyroscopes so useful. Gyroscopes are used in compasses, autopilot systems, satellite systems, and more. Most modern aircraft have an inertial guidance system that uses a gyroscope. Suspended in a special cage, the gyroscope is allowed to maintain its orientation independent of the aircraft's position. Electric sensors and contacts can detect if the aircraft rolls or shifts positions. This information is then sent to the pilots or autopilot. Hopefully that little example made gyroscopes and their uses a lot easier to understand. But that's enough brain-bending science for now. Let's move on to the fun stuff, which is of course fantasy. In both science fiction and fantasy, it's not uncommon to see massive gyroscopic-like devices portray exotic machines and engines. We've seen this in everything from smash hit fantasy games like Skyrim to suspenseful sci-fi horror movies like Event Horizon. In fictional works, we often see gyroscopic devices used to open gateways, power advanced technology, and even travel through time. And personally, I don't believe it's just a coincidence that the newest expansion is titled A Rift in Time, and the new Royal Tool has some kind of gyroscopic device. Of course, thanks to the name of this update, there are already many players who think this new Royal Tool will have some kind of impact on time. But how would that work? Interestingly enough, gyroscopic tools capable of time travel are not just mere science fiction. Have you ever heard of a Tipler cylinder? Well, neither have I until I started researching gyroscopes for this video. And if this amount of research and dedication doesn't get you to press that subscribe button, I'm not sure what will. And just to forewarn you, this is where things can get a little weird. The Tipler cylinder is a hypothetical object theorized to be a potential mode of time travel. Now, I won't bother trying to fully explain the theoretical science behind the Tipler cylinder, as I can hardly understand it myself. I'll just say it involves large rotating cylinders and is theorized to potentially tilt space-time, allowing a spacecraft accelerating sufficiently in the appropriate direction to travel backwards through time on a closed, time-like curve. Can you see the resemblance here between a gyroscopic tool and the Tipler cylinder? I believe that it's this theoretical machine that makes gyroscopic tools so popular in science fiction and fantasy. So if the new Royal tool does function like a small magical variant of a Tipler cylinder, what would that mean? Essentially, we would be able to navigate a closed or fixed loop in time. Basically, we'd be able to jump back 2 years and then return forward 2 years, or some other predetermined set amount of time. But we couldn't just time travel to wherever we wanted. If the new Royal tool does function this way, it would be a very interesting game mechanic, allowing for complex puzzle solving and interesting character interactions. Of course, I'm not too sure as to how this would all work within Disney Dreamlight Valley. And on top of that, I could be completely wrong. That said, even if this Royal tool has no impact whatsoever on time, there's still a very high likelihood that the tool could have something to do with navigation, as gyroscopic devices are commonly used for this purpose. Personally, I'm hoping we find out on November 1st at 1 p.m. That's this coming Wednesday if you're in Eastern Time like I am, where the Dreamlight Valley team is going to be teasing and sharing a lot of information from the upcoming expansion. So I'm hoping we get a look at the Royal tool in action. Now, I'll be live myself at 1 p.m. this Wednesday on my Twitch channel, and we will be watching this live broadcast. So if you want to watch it with us, feel free. I'll have my Twitch channel linked in the video description down below. If you'd rather watch on the official Dreamlight Valley channel, then by all means. In closing, I have been extremely curious about this new Royal tool, and loads of players and friends of mine have been asking for my theory on this. So I made this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I certainly didn't expect to spend my entire weekend researching gyroscopes. And that's totally worth a sub, right? Like, even if I'm wrong, at least I'm dedicated. If you enjoyed today's video, please do me a massive favor and press that like button for me, as it helps the channel grow. Also, consider subscribing for more Disney Dreamlight Valley and gaming content. Lastly, I would love to hear your opinions about what this new Royal tool can do. Do you think it's going to have something to do with influence on time or navigation? Or do you think it's going to be something else entirely? Either way, I'm eager to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy your gaming adventures.